want to expand on something I've been talking about for a few lessons now, and that is these big three shapes. This is the guidepost system that I use to guide myself around chord changes and around the neck and to know where I can play in every different key. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick off the top 4 strings, the strings 1 through 4, and I'm going to show some nice arpeggio patterns that I find myself playing a lot when I'm soloing. They sit really nicely under the fingers. Well, one of them is a little tricky, but there's basically 3 shapes for major, 3 shapes for minor, because these are triads. So I'm also going to show a little bit of a variation how you can turn these into 7th chords. So stepping into that next level of harmony where you have 4 notes at a time rather than 3. 7th chords have 4 notes, triads have 3 notes, so they're innately a little more complex, but triads kind of give you a launch pad or a stepping stool to jump into the world of 7th chords. And specifically, I think these triad shapes will be really helpful for you to get under your fingers and also to be able to play a little bit with these different 7th chords. So I'm going to start with a 1-4-5 pattern, key of G, just basic to show these 3 shapes. And if you watched any of my previous videos on the big 3 shapes, this is going to be just straight from those big 3 shapes, just the strings 1 through 4. So I'm going to start in the root position G major here. And this is taken from what's actually, I think of as the first inversion big 3 shape. But when I'm playing it here, just these 4 strings, it's root position because G is the lowest note. So I'm going to sweep pick. I'm just going to, that doesn't mean picking at the speed of light and playing, it just means going in all the same direction. So I'm going to go down, 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 up when I hit that top string, and then pull off, up, up, up. If I was going back around, I would hit a down on the 4th string again. So I'd go down, 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 up, pull off, up, up, down, 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 up, pull up, up. I'm going to start on G, I'll go G, and then I'm going to hit C major, which is the 4 chord in the key of G, and so I'm going to be playing the 5th fret on these 3 strings, strings 2, 3, and 4. This is taken from the root position C major big 3 shape, in case you know about that. So I'm going to play up these 3 notes. I can either bar them or I can use 3 fingers, fingers 1, 2, 3 to play those, and then finger 1 here, and then I'm going to reach a perfect 4th. This is kind of a big reach. I don't have huge hands, but I have to kind of shift my hand a little bit to reach with my pinky. But that's a good reach for you to practice to build some strength and dexterity and flexibility in your hand. So I've got my G. Go to my C, and then my D, my 5 chord, is going to be here, first inversion, taken straight from the 2nd inversion big 3 shape, but I'm just playing strings 1 through 4, then I'm going to go back to G. I'll do that in time with a metronome. 1, 2, 3, 4. When I stopped here on the B, that was because that's going to lead me into my next position of G major, which is going to be a first inversion on strings 1 through 4, which connects to the 2nd inversion big 3 shape for G major. Again, I'm just taking these 4 notes, so I'm going to go same way through that as we did before. Then I'm going to go to the root position C, then to the 2nd inversion D, then back to the the first inversion G. So you probably noticed this, they're just flipping around. There's only 3 shapes, and so each position uses one of these 3 shapes, and they just switch which one you're using for which chord. Here we're using root position for G, 2nd inversion for C, first inversion for D. Here we're using first inversion for G, root position for C, second inversion for D, and next we're going to use second inversion for G up here. First inversion for C, root position for D. So I'll go through the second two positions with the metronome, starting on first inversion G. 1, 2, ready, go. And voila, we're back up here. Same position that we started in, an octave up. I'm going to show now the minor, also for G, but G minor. So the positions are the same. We're just lowering the third on each of them, and I'm going to do 1, 4, 5 all minor, and then I'm going to add the 5 major before moving on to the next position. So we got G minor in root position, C minor in second inversion, G minor in first inversion, and then G major in first inversion. And again, those all connect to the big 3 shapes that I've talked about in the last couple of lessons. So I'm just taking straight out of that. So next position is going to be first inversion G minor, to root position C minor, to second inversion D minor, to second inversion D major. And the next position is going to be second inversion G minor. So second inversion G minor, first inversion C minor, root position D minor, to root position D major. So I want to show you how to extend these into 7th chords. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I think this is an important thing to start working on. In the root position, we can add a 7th. Well, to backtrack a little, we can add a 7th anywhere that is next to the 1. That may seem obvious because the 7 is right before the 1. So I can add the 7th either here in this shape. I can add it here. That'd be the major 7. So if I play up the triad and then reach up to that major 7 there, and then play the G, I've got a nice major 7, G major 7 arpeggio. If I lower the 7th by a half step, that makes it a dominant 7 arpeggio. Also makes it easier to play. If I lower the 3rd, now I can make a minor 7 arpeggio. And if I lower the 5th, I can make a half diminished 7 arpeggio. And if I lower that 7th one more time, I make a fully diminished. I'm not going to go through every position with this because it'd be a little exhaustive, but just know you can do the exact same thing. It's going to be a little different sounding in different positions, like here. That's what a first inversion sounds like. That's dominant, minor, half diminished, fully diminished, back to major 7. You can do this with any of those positions of any of these chords to make nice arpeggios, and you can make chord voicings out of these. Obviously, you can't play 2 notes on the same string when you're playing a chord, but you can find different ways to play them. Like instead of doing that, we could do this. Or you could omit the 5th, which is kind of the least important note in a major 7 chord. Go 1, 3, major 7. That sounds nice. I use that chord voicing. Dominant 7, minor 7. Can't really make a half diminished without the 5th, but the most important 7th chords are the major 7, dominant 7, and minor 7. The others are important as well, but better to get down the main 3 first. I think that's all I'm going to cover in this video. I'll have another video coming soon and some shorts on their way this week. Visit practicemakesbettermusic.com if you want to check out Guitar Synergy, which is a course that I have that goes deep into the big 3 shapes and will really work you out. If you choose to go through it, it'll really work out these shapes in every position, every key on the guitar, and it's fairly extensive. I think that works really well for a lot of people, so you can check that out. It's called Guitar Synergy, and it's available at practicemakesbettermusic.com under the Courses tab. Thanks. Have a good one.